If you want to win in an AI agency space, concentration of force is something that you must understand, you must apply, and then you must actually execute because this mental model and sort of decision-making framework will really help you in your process of just acquiring pretty much money via the vehicle of AI agency model. And I'm going to explain to you what it is and how you can apply it and how I'm using it myself. And my name is Jan, and on this YouTube channel, I'm going to be sharing a lot of lessons and things I'm learning all along the journey of getting my own AI agency to my goal, which is 7 figures. And throughout the journey, I'm just going to be sharing everything that I have learned, everything that is working for me, and pretty much just mistakes I'm making and the mistakes I've made in the past and how you can hopefully avoid them. So, the concentration of force, the concept of concentration of force is actually coming from the military world, right? So obviously, if you know anything about history, you know that there are in the history have a lot of great generals such as Napoleon, Alexander the Great, and so on and so on. And those generals, all the thing they had in common is that they used something called concentration of force. So how concentration of force works is pretty much by the name, as you can imagine, is that we just use our intellect and our reasoning capacity to just concentrate our resources in a certain direction to achieve a certain outcome. So look, to make it clear, what we are going to focus on is a pretty much example from AI agency world because that's what we are here for. So let's just say pretty much all you really have as an AI agency owner, depending on where you're right now and what is your stage of the business, you have essentially three resources. You have time, you have energy, and you have perhaps money. And depending on the level of your agency, perhaps you will have more time because you will have other team members. So you will multiply your time as a resource by their time and energy, right? If you have money, then obviously then you can hire people, so acquire more energy and more time. Or you can obviously deploy this capital, and what we would call those things is pretty much your resources, right? So those resources are unfortunately limited. Like in every field, unfortunately, those resources are not unlimited. There is a very limited amount of them. And also, especially if you are in the early stage of your AI agency, then you have even less of those resources. Perhaps you're working a 9 to 5, perhaps you're doing something else, perhaps you are only like, at very like low 6 figure a year mark, so you don't make that much money and you don't have that much time and energy. So what you can see is there is a lot of limitation in terms of our resources which we can allocate. And as you know, obviously, in order for you to get to your goal, so let's say this is your version 1 where you're right now, and you want to get all here, where let's say that would be version X, and that version X of you would have the resources in the form of like monetary economical gains from your agency, and you would be rich. Perhaps you would have a Rolex, you would be more happy, or whatever else your soul desires. And as you know, from this state, so from V1 to V whatever, there's a long time, right? So here we have time. It's going to take some time. And also, this is pretty much a path of just a lot of cause and effect relationships, and there's a lot of decisions to be made. And also, there's a lot of the video on my YouTube channel in terms of decision making. However, you have, let's say, like X amount of things you need to do or make the decisions you need to make in order to just get and eventually get to your goal where you do want to get. So here's the thing. All of those micro decisions, all of those, like, this entire chain of cause and effect here, it requires time, it requires energy, and it requires money and sometimes. So it is highly important for you where you are right now at the current stage to not only make right decisions, but also to make, I mean, it's a technical decision-making process where you allocate the only resources you have, which is, let's say, at this point, time, energy, and maybe some limited amount of money, and you allocate all of those resources here and you concentrate those resources to actually pretty much get here where you want to be as soon as possible. And the problem with that is you need to know where to concentrate your forces the most and where you can allocate your resources the most. Because here's the thing, you need to focus on something which is called an asymmetry, which is a graph like this. Hold on, I'm horrible at drawing. You gotta forgive me. But here is pretty much what asymmetry is. Asymmetry is a concept from I mean, let's just stick to the warfare for now, not going to different disciplines. But essentially, asymmetry in terms of concentration of force is where your army is putting as little like soldiers or resources as possible, and you're with this amount, you're just giving like your enemy as big of a like impact. You have as big of an impact, and you destroy as much of their forces with your. So you want to have as little soldiers and as little forces here in terms of like warfare, and just damage as many of their resources and soldiers, and just pretty much cause as much damage with as little of your resources as possible. And obviously, in terms of like economical structures and business, we are not damaging anything. We're actually doing the quite opposite, which is we are providing a lot of value to the market. However, extrapolating like warfare and like military and history principles to business is a big advantage because not very few people do it. So what you need to do in terms of like context of asymmetry is you need to allocate activities. So activities that are going to yield you the highest possible results in your AI agency. So what I mean by this is you need to allocate like activities that where you put, let's say, X amount of money. So let's just say money or time, more often at the beginning of your stages, and energy. And you need to allocate where that X amount of energy put will yield, let's say, X plus like let's say 50%, right? Of the return. So where you pretty much put $1 out, $1 in, and you get, let's say, $3 out, right? Let's say that's I know dollar sign should be in front of the number, but you gotta forgive me. So when you put $1 in, when you put $3 out, so you need to like the hack to running an agency at every single stage is just isolating where do I allocate my money, time, and energy, and where would I get pretty much the results in forms like honestly only in money, because I mean money but can be reinvested in time and energy, but where do I put my money, time, and energy and get money by plus 50% or plus 150%? So pretty much where you allocate certain resources and get way more than you input, right? Especially, of course, the like the output is going to be money in our in our world because we are running a business, so our outcome is just monetary economical gains. So here we have it very, very simple. It's not as complicated as like managing a warfare machine, which hopefully none of us will ever have to do. And hopefully we're going to live in a peaceful world, which is maybe a quite of a naive wish to have, but sticking to the business principle, pretty much identify, as I said, where your money, time, and energy, if allocated, will yield the biggest asymmetry in terms of like input to output ratio. Here is the graph where you put as little of your time and energy as possible, and you yield as much money as a return as possible. This is the hack to your AI agency. So it requires you to be able to think and to be able to just think strategically. But unfortunately, between your 2 years, there is actually 86 billion neurons, which is a great computing power. And if you actually utilize it properly to the best of your abilities, you can come up with some great ideas. And I believe every single person that watches this video, if you're able to process my words and you're able to just internalize the message and understand what I'm talking about, then that means you have a quite effective computing power, and also you know English, so you have all the necessary requirements to actually build something great, in my opinion, if you just are patient and you're gonna stick for a long enough period of time. And look, essentially, if you are in the stage of, let's say, I don't know, because obviously there are stages, let's say 0 to 10K, there would be like 10 probably to like 50K, probably then from like 50K to 100K, which is where I want to go, or even, and then from, let's say, 100K to 250K, right? And all that can be just per month, right? And then you have like 250K to like 500K, and so on, so on, so on, and you just go into the infinity, depending on how what your soul desires, right? So you have those stages of your AI agencies, and pretty much if you are in this stage where I am at right now, which is just here, right? If you want to scale further, you need to, or honestly, this is a universal principle. I think if you're on the, like, no matter what stage you are in, the question remains the same. You need to just pretty much think in terms of, okay, what is my goal, right? You ask yourself, what is your goal? And probably it's going to be X amount of money per month, right? Like as most of our online business owners are focusing on. So what is your X amount of money per month that you want to make in either profit or revenue? So either profit or revenue. And then you need to pretty much work reverse engineer. Okay, so let's say, I don't know, for the sake of simplicity, you want to make 10K a month, right? And let's say you just care about revenue for some reason because maybe you're just flexing Stripe screenshot and you don't care about profit. So if you're like, if your goal is 10K a month, what you pretty much need to do is say, okay, what would need to happen in order for that goal to be achieved? Well, I could, let's say, sign 2 clients per month, and each of them would pay me, let's say, 5K in setup, right? Okay, and then you think to yourself, well, okay, what do I need in order to get 2 clients per month for them to pay me 5K setup? Well, I would probably need some sort of like marketing, right, and sales. Okay, but then what do I even what do I even channel this traffic that I would have for marketing and sales? So I would need some sort of like a product. And then you think, okay, well, it's very hard to market something and sell something that doesn't exist. I mean, you can, but it's very unethical. So, okay, it is not ethical if you know what you're doing. But for most of the time, especially if you're a beginner, just sell something that can actually provide value. So you're going to ask yourself, well, how can I generate 5,000, let's say, US dollars worth of value? Well, I think if I could, let's say, generate somebody, I don't know, let's say $20,000, then paying them $5,000, which is just 25% of what they are going to make total as a result of working with me, is a great transaction, right? So I hope you're starting to see what I'm trying to communicate here. The key to win is just to focus on all of your forces, which is your time, energy, and money, on what is going to give you the highest impact in terms of moving towards your goal, which is just asymmetry. So just focusing your resources on what is going to get you to your goal. And if you're reverse engineering your goal, let's say you think that you need a product, and then you think that you need to sell a product for 5K because let's say you want to sell that to 2 people, and then you want to make like 10K a month. Like I'm just reverse engineering the goal to give you some sort of a like a process that you can internalize and understand as to how you can find out what you need to concentrate your force on, and then how to actually go and concentrate your force on is another topic. So let's just say you think, okay, how can I make somebody 20K with my AI automation, right? And then you think to yourself, perhaps you go and you ask Claude, you brainstorm, and once you, let's say, get the final idea and in theory it's going to work, right? Then you're probably going to ask yourself, okay, but how do I actually deliver it? And then you probably go and, I don't know, learn your NA10 or your like Claude bot or like Claude Code. I'm horrible at drawing, but like you learn the necessary tools to deliver the process. So right now, for example, after you reverse engineering, right now, if you're in a you have completely no idea what you're doing, your asymmetry, so the graph where you just put as little of your time and energy as possible to yield as much of a result as possible, will probably to spend all of your time just as soon as possible learning those tools, figuring out how you can actually solve the problem. And once you have your minimum viable like understanding, then you can actually go and do the sort of marketing. So you're like, okay, if I want to have 2 clients every single month, well, then I would probably need some sort of conversion process. And let's say my sales conversion rate, probably at the beginning, is going to be something around 10%, right? So that like you reverse engineer the numbers, right? Okay, so like, okay, what is to 10% of like what number, basic math, and then you like reverse engineer that. And I don't want to make this video too long, but you pretty much reverse engineer what you need to do in order to get to your goal. And then you probably, if you ask why and you think enough, you'll soon realize there is some sort of asymmetry, that if you just allocate your time, energy, and money, you will yield very high just ROI. Your return of investment is going to be very positive, right? So it's going to be positive ROI. And that obviously will lead to some sort of monetary gain in long or short term, which is a great thing to obviously do, and if that's what we desire in the agency space, and obviously that's going to help. So the point of this video is in one sentence summary, because I don't want to make it too long, but hopefully this theory makes sense to you. So in one sentence, you just figure out like what is your goal, you make it clear, you orientate yourself, so you just analyze where you are right now. So we analyze, okay, where am I at right now? What are my resources, etc., etc. Then you just reverse engineer. I'm not going to write the full word. You just reverse engineer what you need to do, and you'll probably allocate 1 to 2 things that you really need to get done in order to get here, right? If in order to get here, you really need to get those couple of things done, and then you just pretty much focus or concentrate is pretty much like a synonym. You focus your time, your energy, and if possible, your money on those couple of things here, which are the asymmetries. And if you just do that and then you're patient, sooner or later you should be able to just yeah, get there. And I can tell you what I'm doing right now, what I think is like what I think are the asymmetries to like get to 7 figures. I may be completely wrong, but this is my hypothesis. So it's either just getting clients. So that would be first thing, right? I would say getting clients, then actually delivering. So delivering very like happy clients and high quality results. So those people are actually in positive in terms of working with you. And then also just pretty much getting better are either delivering or just getting clients, and then just build operations around it as soon as possible. So just build operations around getting better, pretty much delivering and getting clients. And this is what I'm just trying to focus my resources and my time and my energy and my money on right now. We'll soon realize, I mean, not probably in the next couple of months, how great was my hypothesis. Hopefully this is going to help you, but this is what I'm focusing right now on. As you see, I'm not pretending to be some guru or anything. I'm just sharing what I'm doing and what's going to help you perhaps as well and what I'm learning. Yeah, hopefully this type of content helps you if you want to learn more about just AI agency and yeah, just getting better at this business model. If you're an AI developer, AI agency, or you just know how to sell it, you're just trying to build the agency as well, then this channel is going to be, yeah, hopefully some helpful theory for you if you apply it, and hopefully it's going to help you. So, yeah, thanks for watching. Take care.